Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. We have obviously just witnessed one of the most momentous and historic events that we will probably ever see in our lifetimes, which is, of course, the attempted assassination of President Donald Trump. So in this video, we're going to go through some of the details surrounding this event. We're going to ask some questions about it. We're going to have a look at some absolutely insane responses from lefties and check out other various different tweets and clips surrounding the event. Now, obviously, this is still a pretty breaking story. It's early days. So I'm going to do my best to give a fair response to this as I see it. And then as time passes, obviously we will get more and more information. But first of all, guys, I'd like to just send love, prayers, and support to the family of the individual who was murdered at the event today. It's just so horrific. Somebody going to this event to support President Trump, trying to do something positive, trying to be a part of a positive change. And now they've had their life taken away from them by some piece of human garbage. So all our love and prayers to the family of that individual. And so with that, guys, let's have a look at the moment that the shooting took place.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So incredible scenes, guys. This is a moment that will go down in history. We're living through a moment right now that will be talked about hundreds of years from now in the history books. But with the current political climate, when I woke up to the news this morning, there was a part of me that wasn't even that surprised, which is just mental. It's not like my jaw hit the ground. I mean, I've said this before and other people have said it, that kind of expecting that they might try and assassinate him at some point, or at least those people who radically oppose him would sooner see him dead than back in office. But speaking of those who oppose him, just how deep does that rabbit hole go? I mean, he's been betrayed time and time again during his time in office, and there are a lot of people in high places within the US government and the bureaucracy and in other places who would probably like him dealt with and really don't want to see the swamp drained. And so, of course, Twitter has been rife with speculation, and there are definitely some peculiarities about this. Here's some footage of a person who saw the shooter.
A lot of people very, very frightened. Greg was someone who was here. You weren't inside the event,
Nope.
But you were just outside. Tell us what you saw. And
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party. And we all decided, hey, you know, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, you know. But we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and, you know, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
he had a gun, right?
But before we get to the next one, guys, a quick reminder to quickly smash that like button, help this video go far and wide into the algorithms, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
So ordinary people who were attending the rally managed to see that there was somebody with a rifle on the roof pointing it at the president. They notified the authorities and did nothing about it. That is odd, to say the least. And if there's anything we know about the Secret Service and about these events, is that nothing happens without their knowledge. You cannot breathe at those events without them knowing about it. They have their bases covered. So the fact that this person was able to do what they did is, to me, extremely suspicious. Laura Luma tweeted the following. She said, "Massive failure by Secret Services. The shooter used a ladder to get onto the roof to try and kill President Trump. How did Secret Service miss this? I don't think they did. I think they let it happen. This is unacceptable." And she tweeted a photo of the venue, which clearly shows a ladder and where the shooter was placed. And then another photo here, which shows the location of the gunman, and then roughly 148 yards between him and the approximate area of the stage where Trump was shot. So you mean to tell me that they didn't have drones circulating the event or helicopters to pinpoint anybody who maybe, I don't know, wanted to try and kill President Trump or something like that? Really? I mean, I don't know about you guys. I find that very hard to believe. And now also, I was very suspicious that this gunman, the alleged gunman, I'm not going to go into it today because I think that there could be more about this coming out in the future. But this amateur gunman was able to make this shot and nearly hit Trump in the head. And being an Australian, not being too well versed in guns, we had our guns taken away from us in the 90s, which is why we're so easily tyrannized. So yeah, I mean, I put out this tweet asking the gun people if it was a difficult shot. And you guys were pretty adamant that it was quite an easy one to make, which got me thinking that if this person fired multiple shots and missed, and it was supposedly a pretty easy shot, then it kind of detracts from the idea that this was some sort of a high-level professional assassination attempt. Because to do a job like this, if they really wanted to get the job done, then the job would have gotten done. The professionals do not miss. So purely speculation on my end, but I just can't help to think to myself that there's something seriously not right about this. And it's pretty much just a gut instinct from what we've seen in the short amount of time that we've had since this has happened. But really, I just don't see how somebody was able to pull this off. And if it really was some sort of Antifa dork who managed to scale the roof and get up there and fire shots at President Trump, then it would just be one of the most unfathomable blunders, truly unimaginable incompetence from those who are responsible for protecting Trump. And another thing that I found very odd was this video that I saw, which is a video of Secret Service people behind the stage ushering people away from behind President Trump just before shots rang out. And I'm going to have to defer to you guys with this one. I mean, if anybody knows what's going on here, is this standard practice? Do they not have people standing in a certain place, or is this suspicious? I genuinely don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Coincidence or not a coincidence? And now, of course, there were some ideologically brain-damaged people on the internet today, and way more than I even would have expected, who couldn't just at least be silent for one day as they saw President Trump nearly murdered in front of the entire world. I mean, the Trump derangement syndrome on these people is just so overbearing that even today, the resentment just came pouring out of them like diarrhea. And when I say it's not a small amount of people, these were the topics trending today. One job, how do you miss? And they missed. This person thought that it was all a setup because she's from Harlem.
That shit was more staged than a Tyler Perry production of Medea Runs for President. I lived in Harlem long enough to know that gunshots do not sound like making popcorn on the stove. Pop, pop, pop. Where'd the blood come from? So in theater, in movies, they have what's called blood pellets.
CNN, who are never too far away with the TDS, came up with this narrative.
I do want to say there was one thing that when I watched the tape, I found odd because of all of the heated rhetoric. And that is that after he was hit, former President Trump got up and said, fight, fight, fight. I think what we're hearing from people is that's not the message that we want to be sending right now. We want to tamp it down.
Yeah, I would just know one thing on this.
How could any sentient human being fail that hard at reading a room? Even Cenk Uygur, the worst of Trump haters, said one more credit to Trump and his fans today, and only today. Trump sticking the hand up and saying fight, 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 while the crowd chanted USA, USA, USA was badass. Yes, it was, Cenk. We can agree on that, my friend. But CNN's take, and they're not the only ones, guys, we're about to get into more of it, is just an almost impressive level of tone deaf. But honestly, guys, don't be surprised to see more and more of these things as it all tones down, because this is what these sick people do. Their whole lives and livelihoods are built around slandering Donald Trump and making him the big evil orange threat to democracy. Without that, these people have nothing. So him getting up and saying fight, fight, fight after just copping a bullet is one of the most iconic moments in the history of mankind, and that is no exaggeration. So you can absolutely guarantee that his haters will try and turn that into him being antagonistic. So from now on, anything that happens that could be perceived as any sort of misbehavior from MAGA people, they will start talking about how Trump said fight, 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 and how that's a danger to democracy. This is going to happen. You can bet your bottom dollar. But these people weren't the only ones who seized this moment to try and flip the narrative and make this an attack on MAGA. Senator London Lamar says, while I'm praying for former President Trump and hopes he makes a full recovery, the extremism from MAGA regime has brought us to this moment. Oh dear. Anyways, lefties on LBC went with a similar line.
While of course, and we're talking about this, politicians are often the victims of this. They're the first victims of it. There's also, of course, politicians who are ramping this up, who are building a narrative of them and us, who are building outside groups and inside groups, who are building a politics where violence does become more likely. As I talked about this morning in the context of Donald Trump, let's be 100% clear that the attack on him was outrageous, completely unacceptable, and there is zero justification for it. But let's also be very clear that he has consistently incited and inflamed political violence himself, whether that's the January attacks on the Capitol or his wider demeanour towards protesters in the audience. He has sullied our politics. So yes, I feel sympathy, I feel pain for the fear that his family must have felt at that moment, and I feel real fear for the American political system, and that attack was clearly and utterly wrong. But he also has some culpability in creating an environment where violence is more likely.
He has culpability in the assassination attempt, guys. Touch some grass, brother. Touch some grass. I think that if I'm not mistaken, on the woke left, they would call that victim blaming. Moreover, Libs of TikTok called out this University of British Columbia professor. She tweeted, "Damn, so close, too bad. 45 views, you didn't think that was going to go viral? Did you, Dr. Karen?" She also said, "What a glorious day this could have been." And Libs of TikTok said, "Hey, University of British Columbia, is this one of your professors?" Karen tried to take down her Twitter page, but I guess she didn't realize that the internet is forever. And we will not forget Karen. But I think my favorite tweet of all came from Conor McGregor, of all people, who said, a 78-year-old multiple billionaire, he should be on a yacht on the Med touring golf courses, but he is not. He is in Pennsylvania spitting out bullets, running for the love of his country. Godspeed, Donald. God bless the United States. There's also this photo, which I believe is real, which depicts the bullet about to hit Trump's ear, which, if it is real, is just so miraculous that this moment was caught on camera. And then there's obviously this photo, which is just an unbelievable piece of photography with the defiant Trump, hand in the air, the American flag. And this will be one of the most iconic photos ever taken, and there is no doubt about it. What an incredible piece of photography. And now, last one of all, guys, of all the things that I've seen today, I'd have to say that this video was one that really gave me chills. I have no idea who this man is, but have a listen.
All throughout America, all throughout, and I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and there things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting. And
so, wow, I mean, quite remarkable, really. And whether or not he's right about what is to come, I mean, I would hope that it's something along those lines. Something like Donald Trump being able to put all of the persecution aside, some sort of humanity being shown to him, and then to go on and win the election and to go forth with the conviction that God saved him from those bullets for a reason. So, I mean, early days, guys, and I suspect that the plot is very much going to thicken with this one. I mean, we have the Republican convention happening this week. I suspect that Donald Trump will be there and will make a pretty fiery speech. So strap yourselves in and hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because 2024 is going to be a wild ride. So with that, that's it from me today, guys. If you would like to find my links below, you can find them. And also, if you would like to subscribe to the channel, if you enjoy these breakdowns right here, and if you'd like to watch another one right here. Till next time, I'm Jake, RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.